Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Seattle, where we are working to build healthy communities. My name is still Jan Levy, and I'm still your president for this year. And I want to say Happy New Year and Happy 2026. Can't believe it. Please take a moment to take a look at the land acknowledgement statement on your screen. And while you're doing that, I am welcoming Linda Ruff and Eric Lashever and Jevon Powell and Michael Harris to give us our music. And following that, we will have the great Virginia McKenzie to give our inspiration.
In Rotary land, there is something known as the Rotary moment. The Rotary moment, as the music signifies, is an intense experience when a Rotarian really feels it deeply in their Rotary journey, that they are a Rotarian. I'm going to share two moments with you. The first has been singing over the years with the Rotary Rogues, many who are in this room today. The second is helping to lead the club, of which you'll hear more today from your speakers. I'd like to ask you all to join, if you are so moved, as we sing Lean on Me.
Would you stand? Thanks. That was good. Do it again. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, or it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me, call me, call me, call me, call me. Woohoo!
Oh, you guys know how sentimental I am. That just gets me right in the feels. Uh, 10 years ago, my passion to fight sex trafficking was sparked from this podium right here at Seattle Rotary. As I look out in the audience, I see my friends and leaders who helped make our projects successful in this area, including sponsoring Rotary Club of the Pacific Northwest, ending sex trafficking. Thank you. Today, you will hear from one of our banner members, Susanna Southworth, who is a personal injury attorney helping people that suffer from this, especially youth, and also an update on what we as Rotarians are doing to organize ourselves on the lead up to FIFA to help keep our community safe. You are going to be so proud of the work that we are doing together. For the inspiration today, I quote Margaret Mead, who says, "Never doubt that a group of concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Thank you.
Thank you, Linda and Eric and Michael and Jevin, for the music. And thank you, Virginia, for that inspiration. I also want to thank Kathy Cloutier, or Cloutier, as she says, Kathy Gibson, Erica Saul, and Charmaine Vasquez for being our greeters today, and to Pete Delaney for doing our meeting reporting. We do have some guests and visiting Rotarians with us today. And as I call your name, if you'll stand, stay standing until you're all standing, and then we'll applaud you all at once. Linda Collins, Mara Dominowski, Eric Lashiver, Michael Harris, Kathy Burnell, Deborah Robinette from the Tacoma 8 Rotary, Nicole Nicholas Nash, Philip Southworth, our speaker, Susanna Southworth, and Nicole Gaba, if you're here. Welcome, everybody. Did I miss anyone? Please stand. And I'm gonna mangle your name, so. And she is from the San Diego District 5040, right? 5340, visiting with us. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We also have a few people here who are celebrating their first anniversary with us. Those members are Andrew Doran. Are you here? I thought, there you are. I'm looking right at you. Jose Neges, Andrew Lewis, Charmaine Vasquez. Did I miss anyone? Congratulations and what? And I'm not even, Lose Whiskey? Did I say it right? Congratulations, you're all 1-year members. We're delighted to have you. You weren't on the list, I'm sorry. Today we are beginning our exploration of the next element of the healthy community model, public safety. A healthy community ensures the public safety of our residents, creating safe physical environments and promoting policies that prevent harm and support rapid response in times of crisis are critical for a healthy community. Some of us are not so safe. As Seattle prepares to welcome the World Cup for the FIFA World Cup, I should say, and we're going to be welcoming the world here, there's a lot to be proud of and there's a lot to celebrate. But large global events can also magnify some of the challenges that already exist here. And if you live anywhere near where I do, and you drive up Aurora North, you know what those challenges are. You see them. One of them is sex trafficking. It's an issue that's present year-round and one that can intensify with increased travel, crowds, and anonymity. Today, we are highlighting a unique group of Rotarians and catching you up, as Virginia said, on the progress and current initiatives of the Rotary Club of the Pacific Northwest ending sex trafficking. I wish you had a shorter name. Thanks to Virginia McKenzie's vision, this is the club that you all helped launch in 2021. They're an amazing group. A number of their officers, members, and honorary members are with us today. Will you all stand and receive our applause, please? Anyone who's a member of the Sex Trafficking Rotary Club? One of our speakers today, Christine Moreland, is unable to join us because she is ill. But we are so lucky to have Susanna Southworth, who was president of the club in 22-23. Susanna is an attorney who has just completed a trial seeking restitution for a victim of trafficking, and she serves as this region's chair on Rotary efforts related to the FIFA World Cup. Their bios are on your tables. We're very grateful to Susanna for helping us to have this very important conversation, and we're leaving you plenty of time for Q&A. Please join me in welcoming Susanna Southworth. And she doesn't need my step stool.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. As you just heard, I did have a 1-week long jury trial in a sex trafficking case, only the third jury trial ever in the history of the TVPRA, our federal trafficking statute, ever. Since it was, and the particular part of the statute that we filed our claim under is a beneficiary liability claim, that an amendment to the statute in 2008. The third jury trial, only the second jury verdict for a survivor of sex trafficking. The first trial was in May of 2025. It all occurred in 2025. And the case settled after the first day of trial. It was against a hotel brand, federal court in Georgia. So we didn't get to a jury verdict. The second trial happened just a few months ago, September. We had a jury verdict, also in a federal court in Georgia against a hotel operator for the plaintiff for $40 million. A tremendous outcome. So then was a team of attorneys that brought the third jury trial to Oregon District Court, Portland Division, first week of December. And we even felt like we convinced the judge, who was against it was a very difficult case that began in 2019, that I joined the team in 2022. And I give you a sense of how long these cases take. I poured 1,000 hours into this case, easy. It was a defense verdict. So I'm still grieving the outcome of something I've poured just hours and hours, and I have been reflecting on it. I'm going to share more about that trial, but it's affirmed my resolve on what we need to do in Seattle in preparation for the World Cup. So
Today, we're getting a glimpse into the life of a woman who was the victim of sex trafficking here in Portland.
She says she was raised in a good family and well educated. How, she says, she was lured and then forced into the world of prostitution. Our Eileen Park has this special report.
Portland is known as a hotspot for sex trafficking. Its location, dense population, and many strip clubs makes it fertile ground. So we wanted to understand more about the secretive nature of sex trafficking and where it's happening. I asked one survivor of sex trafficking to share her story to give us some rare insight. Although she wasn't working for a strip club, she was trafficked by her boyfriend several years ago.
We are going to the first hotel that I ever worked at.
Andrea Benson grew up in Portland, a self-described goody two-shoes, a good student. She says she was 22 when she met Michael Knight on a dating website.
We started dating. That was all that I was looking for, was a boyfriend.
Andrea says they fell in love fast and moved in together just weeks after they met.
He promised me everything that I would ever want.
That's when their relationship took an unexpected turn.
If I would just do these certain things, then I could have marriage and family. I could have the house I wanted. I could have the cars I wanted. I didn't think that he would ever force me into being a prostitute. Once I started, then everything changed and he turned into this very, very manipulative person and would say, you know, if you try and leave me, I'll tell everyone what you've done. I'll tell your family. They're not going to take you back. They're not going to love you.
She says he posted her ad on Backpage.com and TNA Board. She made him tens of thousands of dollars. When she took us near the hotel, which was near PDX, I asked her who some of her clients were.
Lawyers and firefighters and a couple of police officers.
We decided not to name the hotel, but we've learned that it's happening at hotels all over the city.
So that's my client, AB. This is find the complaint that stuck, because we had to file in actually more than one jurisdiction, and this was the 7th complaint that survived the motion to dismiss stage. This way. So part of the trial team there, this is the courtroom where the trial happened before Judge Immergut, who was actually the judge involved with blocking the executive order. It's moving forward without. It blocked the executive order by Trump to bring troops into Portland. Same judge. This is the trial team and our client. This is very personal to me because I've invested so much time and energy in this case. And so to even have jury instructions was so unique in this type of case. These cases typically settle because of particularly the publicity around sex trafficking. But I wanted to give you the definition of sex trafficking in blue there. You know, this case, AB was a young adult. The case that we have a plaintiff's verdict a few months ago that was a minor and a longer trafficking period. This trafficking period was 2011 to 2012, about a 4-month period. So, and it really a matter of weeks. The jury didn't want to be polled. We tried. They didn't want to talk to us. But Judge Immergut went back to the jury room after we had the verdict. And as it was sinking in, and we were in shock because the trial went very well. We felt that our expert witnesses were better. AB did just a tremendous job on the. She was questioned for about 3.5 hours. She was on the stand, and an hour and a half of that was cross, which is very just conflict and difficult. She did a tremendous job. She's one of the strongest people I know in this world to survive a litigation process that went for years and then to even go through a jury trial. And the trial went well in terms of so I can't give details, but she's not going to walk away with 0. And that happens. I mean, you can get to a resolution in a case even all the way up to the verdict. And so we did negotiate something. But But at the end of the day, what is on the books is a defense verdict, unfortunately. And there was one piece of feedback that the jury gave to the judge, and that was we were challenged by how long the plaintiff took to file her suit. So the trafficking period ended in 2012 and brought the suit in 2019. And so I've been thinking about that takeaway from the jury, and it had to be a unanimous verdict. There were 8 jurors. I don't know which juror didn't decide for us. We started out with 43 jurors to impanel, 43, and so 8 was our jury panel. And as I reflected on this experience, looking at here at the elements of beneficiary claim, just to give you a sense of what we needed to prove, I felt what was lacking was that, of course, the time span that had passed, but that I don't know if the jury really believed she was a victim. And that's why training is so important in the investigation piece of a trafficking case. It's critical because in my case, it came down to the investigation report and the interviews conducted by the police officers. That was our evidence because so much time had passed, we had very little hotel evidence, and our defendant was a hotel operator. And this is important in King County. I have some statistics for you put out by Roanoke Park Counseling, which is a tremendous resource for survivors of sexual abuse. They provide counseling to adult survivors of child sexual abuse at any time. It doesn't, and then in terms, they won't turn someone away because of financial reasons. It's a sliding scale. But these statistics reflect why it's so important that we're vigilant leading up to the World Cup. And I highlighted a statistic that really speaks to me, that so many of the cases are never reported to the police. And what does that mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that a victim isn't in contact with the police, but they're not making a report. And in my case that went to trial, the interview with the victim was actually not very helpful to our case.
Every day, people are tricked, coerced, and manipulated into sex trafficking. Would you recognize what it looks like so that you could do something about it?
What girl doesn't want to be told that she's beautiful, that she's talented, that she's loved, smart, funny, and caring? My sister is all of those things and more. He told me he loved me. He told me he wanted to have a family because he knew that's what I wanted. I believed that he was in love with me and that I was doing what we needed to do in order to give us a secure future. He took my desire for a family and twisted it, forcing me to be sold to man after man each night so that he could make money, leaving me with nothing. Her trafficker told us that he was her boyfriend. He went to church with us. Behind closed doors, he was selling her, night after night.
When we found Andrea in a hotel room that night, I knew that she was not a criminal. I knew that she was a victim. Her trafficker used her dreams of having a family to convince her to work in the sex industry. If it can happen to her, it can happen to anyone.
I am smart. I am strong. I am an overcomer. I am so much more than a victim of sex trafficking. I wish that I had been taught what to watch out for so that I could have protected myself.
Trafficking happens in every city, in every state, throughout this country.
I was manipulated by my trafficker. The Deceptions program teaches students how to protect themselves from someone like him. It can happen to her. It can happen to anyone.
So that is Drea. I'm so accustomed to saying AB, and I do have her permission to show these. These are on the internet. She has really became an advocate after she got out of the life, and so she was interviewed by Coin News. There are other news interviews, and then this Deceptions program. But what is was so cool about what I just showed you is that was our key witness. Other than, of course, Drea, was Officer Gallagher. Officer Gallagher is now retired police officer of the Portland Police Department, but was key to the investigation in her case in the trafficker's arrest back in March of 2000. And I think I might have the dates wrong. I've told you 2012. 2013. So it was 2012, 2013. He was arrested March 2013. I'm horrible with dates. No, it was 2012. So Officer Gallagher, after the investigation, took it upon himself to train himself about trauma and human trafficking because he saw a need for it in Portland. And with Drea's help in some speaking events, would provide training to community personnel and particularly law enforcement. So, and he began that training in 2014. So what I have here on the slide are some materials, even this is dated from 2012 from the Polaris Project, that reflect that the signs of trafficking, there were publications, there was awareness about these signs even as early as 2012, which was an argument, of course, a point we made during the trial, victim indicators, which I know this is small print, but just to show you that in 2012, these indicators were out there. The hotel should have known. But one of the action steps is to, in this, look at the copyright down at the bottom, 2012 by the Polaris Project, is to contact the National Human Trafficking Resource Center to report tips to connect with trained law enforcement. The Homeland Security released a blue campaign around the same time frame, putting out their indicators of human trafficking. And it is up to law enforcement to investigate suspected cases of human trafficking. ECPAT put out a hotel checklist a little bit later, but still arguably the hotel should have known. But look at this in the checklist that for a hotel to take measures to prevent sex trafficking, and the defendant in my case is a hotel operator, was to establish law enforcement contacts trained on human trafficking. So again, Officer Gallagher took it upon himself to train himself about trauma and human trafficking. And I think part of the reason why Drea was not, the jury didn't see her as a victim, is because when she was interviewed, she was trauma bonded to her trafficker. And some of the officers, I think, might have seen that, but because they had to take her words for face value during the interview. She wasn't exactly truthful. She was trying to defend her trafficker. She really needed the help of not only the officers to see the signs of the trauma bonding, but also direct service providers to come in to help her to feel safe, because a victim that is trauma bonded cannot give information to help law enforcement until they feel safe. You have to have those services available at that first intervention. So then, just to show you, Rotary was involved in helping Officer Gallagher and in these trainings. This is a 2018 flyer. It's Portland Rotary Club that was involved. I mean, so we need to be involved with this here. This movement has started years ago. Let's continue it. Rotary has always partnered with direct service providers and first responders to make an impact here. So note Rotary's involvement. So FIFA World Cup is coming. I'm going to move forward to some statistics here. I mean, we are one of 16 host cities in North America. At least 6 World Cup games will be played here in Seattle in June and July. Here are the host cities. So our match schedule, and I count 6 in Seattle. So I'm a board member of the Rotary Action Group Against Slavery, which is a global action group fighting human trafficking. And we are coordinating with Rotary International and community leaders in host cities to come up with a service project, and we have done so. So this was a slide provided to me by Ragus, just kind of the ways that we could get involved as Rotary in preparation for the World Cup, but specifically we're focusing on the service project. We want to train first responders. And at the same time, we're going to have a supply and funding drive for direct service providers. We have a training coming up in March 2nd and 3rd. And on your tables, you'll see a flyer there where you can use the QR code to register. It's free. Our Pacific Northwest Ending Sex Trafficking Rotary Club is helping to sponsor this event. And for time restrictions, I do want to introduce Mara Domanowski, if you could just stand. Mara is the Kitsap County Human Trafficking Task Force Program Coordinator who is bringing this training to Gig Harbor. And so if you could please come over and say hello to her when the meeting is done today. If you have questions about the training, she's a former law enforcement officer and her husband is still. And so she has brought Dan Nash is a national expert on human trafficking. He is a 27-year veteran. Go ahead, Mary. Yeah, so I was going to, yes, please.
Say one
Please.
thing. You talked about trained law enforcement officers having, survivors and victims go to trained law enforcement officers. Law enforcement officers in the state of Washington receive 0 hours of training on human trafficking. 0 mandatory hours. They don't get trained on it. And I know this because I was recently a commissioned law enforcement officer. Should I repeat anything that I said? Did we hear me okay? So thank you. So this training is really important. It takes a very special person to capture the attention and trust of law enforcement to train them. I know you told me that I should sit down. I shouldn't speak,
Well,
should I?
I know, with tight ship here.
Tight ship. I'll sit down. Come to me. I have a lot to say about Dan. His whole goal is to get law enforcement and advocacy services working together because one cannot do it without the other. Law enforcement is the tip of the spear, and so are advocacy agencies, and they need to be in the same room at the same training, even with the community, to get this job done. And I've never had a training like that, but everybody needs to be in the same room to resolve it.
Thank you, Mara. So
Sorry.
if I can, no, it's important. Can I have 2 minutes? 3 minutes? Oh, so I talked too much about my jury trial and I'm sorry. Again, I'm still grieving. The training is comprehensive. I attended it last March. Dan Nash is phenomenal. It's a high-level training. It's about the signs of human trafficking and investigative guidelines to help. And so this is high level. It's not getting into Washington statutes. These cases are most often prosecuted at the federal level, but it's that kind of training where these are the signs of human trafficking. This is the way that an investigator or first responder should kind of look at the situation and respond, and how to talk to a survivor of human trafficking.
Same in every state except for Minnesota. You need force, fraud, or coercion. It's the same. It's not necessarily state specific, although Seattle does have more stringent laws than some. That's okay because laws are the same in every state except Minnesota.
Thanks, Mara. That's true. And so it's open to all professionals, and community members are more than welcome to attend. So please come. It makes a difference you can be a first responder. You need to be a first responder. You don't have to be a law enforcement officer or medical professional, be a first responder. He has put out a field reference guide, and this is only $10. I have one with me that please come and take a look at it. So even this is a way Rotary could come behind it, disseminating this field guide. He also provides training for just a community class, remote. So go to the website and check it out. There's a lot of resources there. I'm going to skip past this. Because I want to get to the resources in our area. Try to put down a comprehensive slide here. And at this training in March, we are going to make sure and be putting out the word about what the resources are, because law enforcement and medical professionals, counselors need to know who to connect a survivor to. And during the training in March, we're going to have a supply and funding drive for direct service providers, such as The More We Love, who Christine Moreland, who is a co-founder of, who couldn't be with us today. This is her website. Please take a look at it, because this is the only resource I know of transitional housing for survivors of human trafficking. We have to put them in safe housing, so they a place of safety to be able to talk to first responders. Drea remained in the life for about 2 more years. She wasn't helped right away when the trafficker was arrested. And the trafficker was arrested for promoting prostitution. That's the other problem, because the officers weren't trained in human trafficking signs. This is the More We Love has a 24/7 crisis support line highlighted there to take note of. And then just want to final plug to our Pacific Northwest Rotary Club Ending Sex Trafficking. Thank you so much for being here today. I know you stood up earlier, but I just want to share that our club is, we do service projects to bolster direct service providers in the area. The More We Love kitchen renovation. We do a hats and gloves drive for rest. We have monthly speakers focused on human trafficking. In January, we have a speaker speaking about the Epstein files. In February, we have a BEST program coordinator speaking about the Businesses Ending Sex Trafficking World Cup business training effort happening. And then on February 8th, we invite you to join us to tour the Emergency Receiving Center for The More We Love. That's at 1 p.m. RSVP to Virginia McKenzie. Join the Rotary Action Group Against Slavery. This is the website there. It's an action group that comes along Rotary clubs to help them put together and implement a service project to fight human trafficking. So our service project for FIFA, we're going to bring we're going to have a second training for first responders, and we're looking at May. So I just want to finish with that. I ask of you, be engaged with the training happening in March. And then please help me to promote and put on a first responder training in Seattle in May. That's the plan. And during those 2 trainings, we are going to have a funding and supply drive for direct service providers. That will be our Rotary service project in preparation for FIFA. Go ahead, Mara.
If I could just say one more thing to be clear about Dan's training and about, I believe, what Susanna's mission is and about what my mission is with Kitsap County, is that these people involved, the survivors involved in human trafficking, the victims, that's what they are. No one's getting arrested for prostitution. They're not criminals. And that's Dan's main goal, and that's my main goal as well. These women, men too, they're not criminals. They need services, and we need to get them help. And that's the goal. So I don't want anyone to think or, be confused that, anyone's getting arrested. These women are not criminals. They need to be offered services. The last police op that I went to, everyone was offered services, no charges for the women. And that's how it should be. And that's the direction that I want Washington to go. That's the goal. No one's getting deported. They're victims. They're exempt. That's not going to happen. At least not with my goal. That's the direction Washington needs to go.
Okay. So we've got 3 minutes, so 1 or 2 questions, and I'm going to put us back to the resources slide.
Hi, my name is Tracy Brown. In regards to regional coordination because of the FIFA Cup, what kind of efforts are you embarking in terms of local cities and municipalities? I know Sound Transit has the sex trafficking as well. I mean, I've heard some amazing stuff that you have here. I'm just trying to look at how you're going to coordinate the effort, and then, how can we best participate once we know what the coordinated efforts are so we can plug ourselves in.
So thank you. So there's a lot that we can do in preparation for the World Cup. And there are several committees in the area that are meeting to talk about those ideas. This service project, which will be training first responders and then the funding and supply drive for direct service providers, there are these to be two training events. So to be involved, I first come in March to the training event. It's free. And then in terms of Rotary being a network of just ready to kind of boots on the ground, help me with this supply drive, help me with this funding drive. We've got to get the word out. So it's about promoting and then engaging. So to answer your question, I think that I would please feel free to reach out to me directly. That last slide had my phone number and my email. Reach out to any of our club members with the Pacific Northwest Ending Sex Trafficking. Our current president is Eric Lachever. There he is. And so our club can also be a liaison for you to help plug you in to coordinate. But we're going to be focusing on these two training events with a supply and funding drive during those training events, one in March, one in May.
Susanna, we are going to have that slide included in the newsletter when it does go out. So folks, you don't have to necessarily take pictures or write that down. Mary's going to include that in the newsletter when it goes out. We have one final question from Stan.
Thank you. What materials or how can we educate our own children and grandchildren so that they don't become trapped in all of this?
Thank you. That's so important. As the average age of entry is 12 to 13 years of age per the Department of Justice. It's really important to be that there is internet safety training for our youth and even at elementary age. So that internet safety training, because traffickers are using the internet as the platform to groom a victim. And the way that you receive that training is so Ever Strong, formerly Stolen Youth, is an organization in the Seattle area that has put together a prevention curriculum that has been vetted by survivors, survivor leaders, so go to Ever Strong. Probably their website would be a way to get connected with that particular training. Ever Strong is the organization, and they have a curriculum that can help with the internet safety in particular.
Susanna, if I could just jump in real quickly on Sten's question. Your club is partnering with our club and 5 other clubs to offer the kind of training, Sten, you're talking about. And it's being offered to boys and girls clubs, other youth-based organizations, and even to school counselors. And we have a training module specifically for kids and how to avoid online attacks.
Jan, over to you.
Thank you. You could invite them to take on each table as a magazine.
So, thank you. Susanna, if you could, don't go away yet, Susanna, or I'll get you back. As a thank you for participating today, our club's foundation, the Seattle Rotary Service Foundation, has provided 600 servings of healthy produce to those in need through Harvest Against Hunger in your name. So that's for you. Thank you for joining us. And thanks to all of you who've donated to SRSF so we can do this. If you haven't yet, there's still time. Back in August, at the beginning of my term as your president, I talked about how members are the lifeblood of Rotary. I told you all that my fantasy was to be the first president in a number of years to end my term with a net positive growth in new members. I even set a goal to raise our member numbers to 300. by the end of June. As with any stretch, we're not there yet. The good news is we've had about 16 new members join us since the beginning of the year. That's great. The not so good news is that we've also had 25 resignations, all in the same amount of time, not for bad reasons, new jobs, retirement, moving to another city. It's not because they don't love us. So we've got a net loss of 9 right now. So together, we are going to work to write the good ship membership for Seattle 4, and we still have some work to do. Sue McNabb is our Vice President of Membership, and she has some thoughts and ideas for us. Sue, come on up and help me, or stay down there and help me.
No, it's there. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Erica, where are you? Horizon House. Erica?
Over there.
There she is. Of course, she has to be way over there. This is part of the wellness program for me. Okay. So, Erica, you're kind of a new member, are you not?
Member.
So would
6 months in.
6 months in. Tell us a little bit about why you joined Rotary.
Well, I joined Rotary, first of all, from on some good mentorship from an old mentor long ago who told me you need to build relationships outside of your organization. It's just as important as building relationships inside. So I moved to Seattle 2.5 years ago. I am a community person through and through. I knew I did not have the 27 years that I had in Detroit to build relationships, and I needed to be fast tracked into creating community. And so I asked a new member who many of you all know, Neil McReynolds, Neil, how do I engage in Seattle? I shared with him what's important to me: service, connection, and learning. And of course, he said, you need to join Rotary. And I'm so glad that I did.
Great. So if you were going to recruit somebody for Rotary, what would you say to them?
Well, I work in aging services, so I would certainly promote connection. You know, when you talk about health and wellness, one of the single most things you can do for yourself is stay connected. In this world where we feel connected through the internet and online, we don't have that real connection that feeds our soul. So I would say join Rotary so you can have that real in-person dynamic connection.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing like being picked on after 6 months. That's not bad. Jeff. So we're going to have to work hard to get to Jan School. And it's not only Jan School, it's all of our goals. We would love to have ourselves be at 300. And so what we're going to do in the next 2-3 minutes, do I have 3 minutes? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, 3 minutes. At your table, talk about what it is that you would use to recruit somebody for Rotary. What would be the main points, kind of like Erica did, as a team? And then we're going to ask you to share the highlights. Talk among yourselves.
Think about elevator pitch.
Yes.
Your best elevator pitch. Let's give them about 2 more minutes.
And you want to finish at
12:30 or 1:30, whatever.
But don't you have some
Just so we're about to go.
So I
You have about 2 more minutes. You can have a hard stuff. You have 1 more minute. You have 1 more minute. You're going to ask for a comment or two, an elevator pitch or two.
Okay, can we just come back together? Who's got, I could do this like Girl Scouts, you raise your hand. Who's got like the best comment ever that you know would just recruit everybody? Who's got that? All right, I'm going to pick on you. Whose birthday is it today? Kilpatrick, but he's not here, unfortunately. Oh, okay. All right. Quick. Tell us what is the very best statement that you would have. Sorry, Pete. Didn't mean to pick on you.
As I told our table, the very best statement I can give is for the Seattle Rotary Service Foundation and all of the work that it does. I say that because so many people don't have an outlet for community investment and community engagement, and this club really provides that. So I would emphasize the Service Foundation and joining for that reason.
Great.
That's great.
Studio, we have time for one more. Charlie Dickey is just champing at the bit to.
My table is champing at the bit to have me say something. So when I was running what was called Charlie's Table, I used to tell the new members or new prospective members one thing. At the end of every meeting, you would see people connecting, just as you're going to see people connecting at the end of this meeting. And the point I'm making is that none of those people generally didn't know the people that they were connecting with before they came into Rotary. So that was the telling point.
Connection. That's great. Thanks. So we're going to give you a present today. It's a very small card with very small print. Those of you that are my age may need to use your glasses. But it is an idea on how you would present an elevator speech and a couple of hints. So this is homework. Okay. And we are going to get to Jan's goal by the end of the Rotary year, which is the 1st of July. And I'm going to give you one of these to take. Yeah, we take home and read it over. And when you meet people who you think might be a prospective. Thank you, prospect for Rotary. Use this if you're for any reason you can't think at that point about what to present. And we're going to continue to use this kind of approach as we get through the year. We need to increase our membership and also take care of some of the thoughts out there about what Rotary is, what Seattle 4 is. So we're going to change the world. We're going to change downtown Seattle, and we're going to get to 300 by the end of June.
Thank you. And if any of you are members of larger corporations or large law firms, we have lost some of those companies and they're no longer, the hub in downtown. I'm happy to go and talk to them about a corporate sponsorship, which would include a couple of members, perhaps. So let us know. All right. I want to thank REB Enterprises and Carl Benke for their meeting support this year. I also want to thank Bloodworks Northwest and the Westland Morris Group with Baird Private Wealth Management for their sponsorship support. Do you have some announcements?
I have 2 pages of announcements.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to try to get through this really quickly. So why don't you stay there and I'll be over here. Wednesday, January 21st, our lunch meeting is going to be here at the WAC with Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes. You don't want to miss our much anticipated meeting with the chief as we continue our focus on public safety this month. Please make sure you get your ticket early so we have a good idea of how many to expect. And then we're going to form a line at the back so that we can all ask him to join the club before he leaves the room. Okay, Tuesday, January 27th, FEDVA's annual ethnic dinner at Tenor Restaurant. So one of the highlights of the year, FEDVA's ethnic dinners are an opportunity to get to know your fellow members in a more social setting. Please RSVP directly with FEDVA using the email address that is on the screen. The info is also going to be on the club website and in the newsletter. Wednesday, January 28th, Zoom-only meeting with Dan Nelson, head of World Cup 2026 security in Seattle. As we get ever closer to the World Cup this summer, hear from the man leading up security efforts for the games, talk about what public safety measures are being put in place in preparation for Seattle in the spotlight. Wednesday, February 4th, lunch meeting at the Motif Hotel with Eduardo Penalver. Told you, had multiple pages here. Fortunate to kick off Education Month with former Seattle University and recently named Georgetown University President Eduardo Penalver. Please come to hear him talk about what's going on in higher education before he departs the Emerald City. Sunday, February 8th, bear with me, we only have a couple more to go here. Tour The More We Love at 1 o'clock. We heard a little bit about this earlier today. Cordially invited for a special private tour of the Emergency Receiving Center run by The More We Love, who we heard about in today's presentation. People open to pathways out of sexual exploitation get referred here, often by police officers. And you can RSVP with Virginia McKenzie using the email address on the screen. Event is also going to be in the club newsletter. Tuesday, February 10th, February evening event with Taproot Theater. Magic Night at Taproot Theater, community creativity, and standing up to bullying. We'll see Rotary take over Taproot Theater for an informative and participatory experience. There will be additional information. Save the date is up on the club website. Ticketing is coming soon. And finally, I think it's finally, Wednesday, February 18th, lunch meeting at the WAC with Washington State Schools Superintendent Chris Rakedahl. We'll have more details on that. Just make sure you have it on your calendar. February 18th will be the lunch meeting here at the WAC with Chris Rakedahl. Over to you.
Thank you, David, and thank you for stepping in as Sergeant at Arms today for Nicole. Nelson Mandela wrote, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its young people." The hopeful truth is that Susanna and the entire Rotary Club of the Pacific Northwest Ending Sex Trafficking have shown us that this great work is happening in our community every day. Their leadership shows what prevention, protection, training, and healing can look like in action. And they remind us that meaningful change is possible and that all of us have a role to play in building a healthier and safer Seattle. Thank you all for joining us. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks when we hear from our Chief of Police, Sean Barnes. Please remember to register early because this will be most likely standing room only. We are adjourned. And carry those cards with you.